Colleagues and friends, good afternoon. This is Puji Pujono again. With your permission, I have to remove my mask for this interview. So we're privileged now to have our guest, Bung Rinsan Tobing. He is working for Save the Children in Indonesia. Bung Rinsan, good afternoon. And
good afternoon,
to have you
Pak Puji. Thank you.
Why don't you explain to us what you do with Save the Children?
Well, actually, thank you, Pak Puji, for a very great question. So, Save the Children is an organization which has been 100 years old, and in Indonesia has been like 46 years in focusing on child rights, meeting the child rights, and which, according to the regulation, they have the right to grow, to educate, to be protected, among others.
Right.
So, we have a kind of tagline, let's say like that. So, whatever the program, it must be focused on child issues, child rights, education, for example, health, for examples, and then digitalization, for examples, and then disaster management and disaster risk reduction. So the focus or the angle is always from the child issues.
Right. Now, Save the Children Indonesia, that's the name,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's right.
And there are, of course, Save the Children of different countries.
Yes.
How does Save the Children Indonesia relates with other Save the Children? Are you a confederation, federation? What's the setup?
Well, I have to explain it like this. We are a kind of alliance. Okay. So we are guided by what we call as Save the Children International. So let's say I'm telling you about our campaign in 5 years, which is Generation Hope, for examples. So this is coming from global, and it must be translated into the country level program, adjusted or adapted, but of course still in the area of this generation travis. The area is climate crisis. We call it climate crisis, is not climate change anymore, because we think that more and more disasters are triggered or exacerbated by the climate change. So we have global guidance, we translate it into countries, so we can say that. And even though in some countries there are some differences as well, it's really based on the issues on in the country level. So we can say that
you're guided by this global framework somehow of Save the Children International.
Yeah. So for example, in globally we call it Breakthrough 2030. So the children must be educated, must be learning and protected. So these three, let's say pillars, for example, it will be translated into programs in the country level, but it comes from global. Yes.
Now, I would like to bring you to the core of our conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Disaster risk reduction.
Yes.
And according to Save the Children, from the perspective of the best interest of the child.
Yes.
So what is disaster risk management to Save the Children?
Yes.
And why is it important?
Okay. So as I mentioned before that, whatever our program, it must be the angle, it must be from the children's side. If in generally we understand that children is part of vulnerable group. In a disaster event, children's rights are disrupted. The access to health, the access to education, and because they have less capacity than those adult, for examples, so their capacity they becomes vulnerable in the face of disaster. In that sense, in that understanding, then how we design or tailor the disaster risk reduction with the beneficiaries, children, with the children as beneficiaries. So we have to ensure that disaster risk management is something to do with how to build the capacity and lessen the vulnerability of the children in the face of disaster. So when there is a disaster, for example, so we have to ensure that they still have access to health. They still have access to education. They are still protected. So they are not neglected and they are not separated from their parents. They have to be in safe zone areas. So disaster risk reduction is one aspect, but how we put that into the life of children. And when we talk about the life of children and teenagers and youth, so we are thinking about the life cycle of them from a pregnant woman, 2 years old baby, 5 years old, and then children from 0 to 18, and then youth.
Okay.
So that's the cycle, the cycle of the Save the Children work actually. So
Okay.
related to that. So in that sense,
Yeah.
this disaster risk management must be put in that concept. Okay.
Look, Bang Rinsan, so far you have been positioning children
Yes.
as beneficiaries.
Yes.
But there are also colleagues who argues, and in fact push, that children are not simply beneficiaries.
Yes.
How does Save the Children position children aside from beneficiaries? Do they have potentials to
Yes.
tap? Do they have any contribution to disaster risk reduction?
Yes.
What do you say about this?
Thank you, Pak Puji. Okay, so this is also part of the clarification. At the very beginning, of course, we see that as the beneficiaries. Okay,
Right.
there's like on the object side, they're the receiver in more like passive
Simply
position.
because they are vulnerable.
Yes,
Okay.
but of course, they have capacity, they have modality, and we understand also that disaster is everybody's business, right?
Right.
So everyone must be participating actively, and how children actually participate in that way. Okay, so first, of course, we have to listen to them. They, by understanding their need, and then we can respond better.
Okay.
Okay, so we ask them, what do you need and so on, and then where actually they can collaborate with us.
Okay, and contribute.
And contribute,
As well,
of course.
okay.
So let's say, for examples, we just come to disaster impacted areas, we build something and we don't ask children actually, and they say, I cannot go there because it's not safe.
Okay.
Okay, for example, let's say we take example toilet, for example, okay, for children, for girls and women, for example. We just build somewhere out there that is quite far away.
Right.
We don't ask them. We just say, okay, you need toilet, I give you one. But when it's distant, when it's dark, when it's far from where they live, for example, so it's not secure for them.
So you need to ask them.
We ask them.
What's their preference?
Yes.
Okay,
So from
okay.
design, we have to ask them. Okay, and we try to avoid that. Even giving like options, for example,
Yep.
we dig from them. We hear their voice and
So
so
make
on.
sure that their aspiration are actually taken into consideration.
Exactly.
Excellent.
And now we are actually working with some other NGO fellows like World Vision, like Plan International, regarding this GPDR. We have kind of 15 children.
Okay.
They want to voice their concerns about
Aspirations and all.
aspiration,
Okay.
participation, and so on. The message is like this. Yes, we understand the government listen to us, but the government doesn't actively involve us.
Okay.
Okay, so now they are like, push the government, please involve us. We
Okay.
have capacity. It's not just us as objects or the process. So they have statement.
Okay.
And then in the process, this statement is hopefully, Pak Puji, can be integrated into Indonesian position paper.
Definitely.
Okay, so it can be.
So now the fact that
Okay,
you bring
yes.
GPDRR,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction is finally coming to the Global South.
Yes.
And Indonesia being the first one. What is the importance of this event to save the children?
Well, actually, our point about this is to voice. Okay, the rights of the children must be addressed actively, meaningful participation.
Okay.
That's the message we bring to every edge of this planet. Let's say that. Okay, so
And this global platform provide you with that avenue to do it.
yes, and we hope that we can influence them. So there is this voice can be recognized, can be adopted, and hopefully it can be integrated into the declaration, for example. If there
Right.
is something coming like that, for example.
Okay.
So that's as the bottom line I said before. Whatever the program, whatever the event, whatever the opportunity. Okay, so we have to bring this main issue into the table.
Okay. And in that context, then the civil society and the government of Indonesia established Rumah Resiliency Indonesia as an extension, as the how do you say it, the margin of the GPDRR. And you establish an exhibition booth
Yes,
here.
yes.
All right. What kind of items, knowledge, experience that you bring in that booth for the visitors?
Okay, so I can say like this. As I mentioned before, that Save the Children has been 100 years plus old. years old. Okay, in Indonesia,
100 years young in Indonesia.
okay, young. In Indonesia, okay, we have been working like 46 years old. So
Okay.
a lot of best practices, experiences, and moving forward, of course, we have to leverage this
Okay.
modality to better serve the needs of the children. Put them into the driving seat.
Okay.
Okay, so we put that in our booth. Okay, we provide a platform.
So if a person like me walk into Save the Children's booth,
Okay.
what will I find?
Okay, you will have there because it's very good. Papuji is now is paperless exhibition and so on. I support that because I'm a climate crisis what we call that crusader. Let's say like that. Okay, so I support 100% that it must be paperless because
Okay,
it's
so
and
when I walk into the booth,
Yes.
what will I find?
Okay, so there will be a virtual reality facility. So
This kind of
with Oculus
mask.
Yeah, Oculus mask. Okay, so through that you will see that a lot of, you're like getting into a house, a building.
Okay.
And there's a gallery in the building, and you see our programs.
This is like a space in the metaverse.
Kind of that.
It's kind of that, okay.
But let's say in a simple way.
But it's all about Save the Children's program.
Save the Children program.
Okay.
Okay, we have a lot of thematics, for example, like as I mentioned before, health,
Yep.
education, child protection,
So
child
you have
poverty.
that Oculus with the vision in it.
Yes.
And then what else in your booth?
Okay, of course, we still have printed materials.
Some paper-based
Some
information.
paper-based
Okay.
documents, of course. We have sometimes it's also we need that because not everyone can access this technology-assisted facility. So we still serve that kind of need.
Okay.
So we provide printed materials.
Will we meet also the children's advocates in your booth?
Well, they are now actually they have their own agenda.
Okay.
But of course, we kind of show them. This is something the event that you can join with the GPDR.
All right.
But if you want to interview them, I'll guarantee that if you give space here for children, I can take them here.
We would love to do that.
Okay,
So
thank you, Papuji.
let's make a promise that the children will be here and
Okay.
will voice their concern as well.
Okay then.
Now, for the closure of this interview, Bang Rinsan, what would be the short key messages
Yeah.
that you would like to convey to the public and to the potential visitors to your exhibition booth? What are 3 short key messages that you have? Please share it with them.
I always believe that children has the capacity, and then we have to actively involve them, participate them in a meaningful way. It means that they're not kind of a methodology like we call tokenism. We are talking, we are giving speech on the behalf of their children now.
Okay.
They have their voice, they have the capacity, understanding, awareness.
So, first, involve them meaningfully.
Yes. Okay.
Second?
The second one, this process must be bring into local.
Okay.
So we have the localization. Okay.
Don't stop at the national level,
No.
but bring it to the ground.
Yes, bring it to the ground. That's also one of the plan of the Save the Children that we bring
And
to
the
the ground.
third message would be?
The third one, this is very important. We are not alone. We cannot work alone because we have limited capacities. Of course, we have to invite a lot of factors in pentahelix, whatever the roles is, we contribute with our capacity and put together on the table. So we try, hopefully, to solve the issues related to
So the third
children.
is work collaboratively.
Yes.
Colleagues,
Thank you.
that's really a privilege for me to speak to Bang Rinsan Tobing from Save the Children Indonesia. Bang Rinsan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And I will see you in the next interview.
Thank you.